killing each other. Start caring for one another. Stop looking in the mirror and pretend nothing is wrong.
Felt we should take the initiative to bring people together, to strategize, to identify, and help reduce violence in the community.
I think this is the first time an organization have come together to put a project on how they could empower the young African people in Western Australia.
The Stop the Violence project is very important, not just to the Organization of African Communities, but it's also very important in the lives of our young Africans, those who are growing up, and it is important that we imbibe the culture of good societal values in them, instill discipline in them, instill focus in the lives of our young Africans so that they can live a meaningful life and contribute positively to the development of the society in which they live. That is why Stop the Violence is a project that is targeting young Africans to ensure that they imbibe leadership skills to help them not just in their life but also to contribute positively to the community in which they live.
Because of the cultural difference coming into Australia, there's a lot of violence, I think, in families between the young and the old generation, because there is a gap there. It's harder for our younger generation because there's a cultural shock and a cultural difference there. And there's not enough people standing up and actually leading. We need the youth to come together and actually drive it.
Young people need to be busy. They need to be kept busy. And that's something since I've been injured, I was able to do, get 40, 50 of them together. We play games every Wednesday and Friday. And I'm lucky to have the OAC here because they're the one been supporting me with, with equipment. I can't afford it myself, and I'm volunteering for this. And that's something I want to see happen, like violence among our African youth in general. We want to keep that as low as possible. The only way to do it is to get them involved in sport, music, any activity as much as possible, get them busy. That's the only way. If a lot of young people are sitting around bored at home, of course they're going to grab a couple of mates and go around and do silly stuff, which amounts to a lot of trouble, people end up getting hurt.
Stop the Violence project is an initiation of an Organization of African Communities. We need to go to the genesis of what actually causes violence. One is identity. We've got issues with finance, we've got issues with the trauma, we've got issues the people trying to fit in, we've got youth trying to transition from their ways of life back in Africa onto the Australian way of life.
One of the key things I always say to any youth in Western Australia, regardless of your ethnicity or your color, you have to be responsible for your own deeds. You have to be responsible for your community. You need to strengthen your community because you can't stand by yourself. You need people. If we have a lot of people in our community that are well educated and really willing to help their community, I'm sure we could have a better Australia.
We will be working with schools that have been identified. We will be working with a gathering of young Africans. We'll be organizing a couple of sporting events and a couple of different events to attract the young people. Our aim is to produce young advocates, young Africans that will serve as leaders in their own local community and speaking against violence. Our objective is also to make sure that every young African feel responsible for what they do, and we want to make sure to encourage them and give them that understanding that it is their responsibility to be a good citizen. It doesn't have to be the police, it has to be everybody, it has to be something collective.
Stop the Violence aims at getting the youths and training them as an instrument to use to stop the violence, getting them at a young age and training them what leadership means, and training them what self-confidence means, and training them what respect means, and training them how to engage in meaningful discussion instead of turning it into violence. So that's what Stop the Violence is all about.
Stop killing each other. Start caring for one another. Stop looking in the mirror nothing is wrong.